Hello, I'm Henry. Today we have some examples of alleged dating coaches on TikTok piling on the cringe and misguiding their audiences with repetitive platitudes and saccharine motivation. As we begin, toss me a like and subscribe to my channel to support the show and be alerted straight away as I drop these videos. Let's get started.
The only relationships that will last long-term successfully are as followed. When the man loves the woman way more than the woman loves the man, or when the man and women love each other equally.
How do you know that? How can anyone know that? How do you observe one person outloving the other? What does that even look like? These questions might come off to some as unfair because perhaps this woman will go on to explain herself using clear language and logical reasoning so that it makes sense and can be applied in our lives effectively. After all, Gabby here is an alleged dating coach, so it would be strangely unprofessional if she goes on to ramble arrogantly about how uncommitted men are in relationships, while women produce an intensity of output to rival that of a nuclear power plant. But let's find out. I'll start this clip over and let the full minute play. Beware the cringe.
The only relationships that will last long-term successfully are as followed. When the man loves the woman way more than the woman loves the man, or when the man and women love each other equally. And the common denominator here is that the man has to be fully invested. The thing is, that lopsided relationship where the woman loves the man more is going to fail because she is putting in overtime. Women will always put in effort in the relationship to make it work, whereas man has to feel fully invested in the relationship in order to make the changes necessary, in order to communicate effectively, in order to put work into the relationship. If you're a woman watching this and you are stuck on that crusty, dusty ass man, this is your sign to take your energy back. Put it back into yourself, put it back into someone who is going to treat you like the queen that you are.
Firstly, I know it's not uncommon for people to say one person loves the other more. But if we're getting to the bottom of things, really getting to a solution, that's all rubbish. Love is a nebulous term that essentially means to care about someone to an extreme, often evidenced with acts of altruistic service. It's easy to flap our face and say, he loves her more or she loves him more and I know which way is better. But this is an excuse to blame the men that she's interested in for not committing to her. The very idea that she refers to the woman loving the man more as lopsided. I've heard other red pill content creators talk about some version of a woman needing to love the man more for couples to work. But I don't agree with that either. In my view, it comes down to this. In terms of a functioning realistic relationship, the man needs to have a healthy balance of genuine leadership, mature financial leverage, and sincerity. And the woman needs to be alert, respectful, responsible, and submissive to his lead. This is my opinion on a man and woman who say they love each other and choose to remain together. Not forcing anything, no word games or mind games, straight up couples who operate in good faith like that minimize their risk for tension and keep their bond as solid as gold for decades. Women like this peddle this man has to love the woman more nonsense as if it's clever or true. The truth is, as the modern woman begins to feel that it is true, that she has a man who loves her more than she loves him, she loses respect and attraction for that man, good to her as he might otherwise be. These women only really value a man when he's providing them with things and solving their problems. They use words like dusty to denigrate the bloke into the image of a filthy man in rags with nothing to offer. To which I rhetorically ask, if he's so bad, why did you spend any time with him at all? Why is this a concern at all? Well, because what we have here is what we call in literature an unreliable narrator, or, as they're better known on TikTok, dating coaches. Secondly, modern women do not always put in overtime effort to make a relationship work. And they certainly don't do that when they're less invested than the man is. This is nothing more than the same old trope about women being these enlightened, rational workhorses, or the man would be nothing without her, because all he does is go to work, come home, where everything he says and does is wrong, deserving a stern talking to, so he can learn to finally care about other people's feelings or whatever. Bollocks. Men are done with this gaslight programming you do, grouping most of them together with the handful of men covered in real red flags, who you all fight and backstab each other over in your lava pit of drama and self-destructive, supposed self-help and self-worth. You supposed queen. Finally, she advises that you should leave your man for search of another who will treat you like the queen you are. This level-up mentality. It can be cute and playful to throw around words like king and queen under some circumstances. But the sentiment has been completely ruined long ago. You are not a queen. You are one in over 7 billion people alive today who are not anything close to royalty in any sense whatsoever. In fact, you likely have no understanding of what it means to act and live as a queen, no matter what Game of Thrones told you. Guys, listen, before we get too lost in this quicksand of womanist cringe, the word queen just means that they demand from men more bedtime, more downtime, more stuff. I repeat, more bedtime, more downtime, more stuff. It doesn't mean anything else. It can't mean anything else. Oh, they'll spin you a yarn large enough for a family of saber-toothed tigers to scratch at for ages about how we're twisting their words around. But sorry, ladies, if the Gucci fits, boo-hoo, cry me a sodding river. More and more beta males and simps are entering recovery mode from toxic womanism in the 2020s. You had 50-plus years of cultivating this entitled view over men and hijacking the righteous causes of actual women of misfortune for your own selfish, fickle, philandering crocodile tears. Women, you can tell yourselves and your audiences whatever vague, useless nonsense you like, whilst lying on your bed alone with your pets, chirping smoke detectors, that pile of empty ice cream boxes attracting ants, and rewatch Euphoria for the 4th time, or whatever show you watch where you pretend you don't get turned on by the most vile character on the show, who's meant to be a lesson within a piece of art, not the man you dream about and choose real men based upon, then lament your outcomes. But I digress. She doesn't care, and neither do we. So we expose her drivel and move forward.
So I've been single a year and a half now, but I took an entire year to not date guys, to not have sex with guys, to not talk to guys, to not even interact with guys. They were fucking canceled. They were off limits. We didn't associate with the male species. But now we're like, okay, we're going to step back out into the dating pool again. Started that about like 6 months ago. But because I took a whole year to focus on myself, establish my worth, understand what my wants and my needs are for a future relationship, I'm able to articulate that so well with men now. And I honestly don't think it's possible for men to play me or disrespect me or screw me over, because the moment that happens, I'm out.
This woman is so misunderstood and mistreated, with no misrepresentation or fault of her own. She took a break for a year to not be around men in any capacity at all. Wait. 1,000 apologies. I cropped the video wrong. Let me fix that. One moment, please. Thank you for your patience. I want to be sure that I'm always sharing a fair image of my subjects in undeniable accordance with how they intend to appear to the world. There we are. Where was I? Right. She took a break for a year to not be around men in any capacity at all. And in that year, she worked on herself. She got in touch with the superior bad bee inside, and she's not gonna take crap from any blokes anymore. The very next time one of these low-life men break the bed with her, and follow that up with distance, avoidance, and a total lack of compassion and commitment, well, hear her now and quote her later. One strike, she's out. That'll show him. That no-good Chad and his stupid truck and bad boy attitude. He's always out there manipulating this poor girl and that poor girl, casting his spells and driving them all mental. I really hope she can find the strength and pride to persevere through the terrible crisis that animates and disturbs her to this day, 18 months after whatever started her on this noble, modest, humble, courageous journey of self-discovery and triumph.
There is not a second chance. One fucking strike and you are out, baby. And that's how women need to be. Know your fucking worth and what your standard is. If a guy is not meeting your standards because you don't fucking know what you actually need or require, figure that shit out before you're fucking starting to date guys.
Can I tell you something? I can't prove it, but I'm convinced. She doesn't mean anything she's saying, and it's sad. There is no substance in this video. Granted, it's short, less than 2 minutes, and yes, most dating coach videos lack substance or usefulness. But this one is sadder. Sad in the sense that she's still quite young and blessed, yet hopelessly in denial of how her sandpaper attitude, flagrant insincerity, and chaotic values will see her continue to waste the next decade or more being a loudmouth hoochie who takes turns between being the drama, bringing the drama, and being magnetically drawn to it. Why bother with this clip at all? Because this is actually an accurate representation of young modern women today. No, not all, not all, not all. If you're different from this, you know who you are. You know that's true, and that's terrific. If it's really true. Men recognize that too. But this is the unfiltered, freewheeling character out there in every other pub, in every nightclub, in every other trendy coffee shop. She's there, waiting to ruin someone's day, maybe even their lives. Not fair, I hear you say. Let's continue.
You need to understand what you need before you're dating. Unless you're just going out there to fuck, then go do your thing, get fucked. But if you're actually looking for something in the future, I'm not saying right now, I'm not saying you need a commitment, you need the ring fucking within a month, but if long term you're yeah, my goal and my intention with dating is to be married, okay, what do you want in a relationship? What are you looking for in a man? What value do you need from yourself? What your fucking standards look like? Figure that shit out, babe, or you're gonna keep getting over by men. They're gonna keep disrespecting you. You're gonna keep ending up in the situation where you're on TikTok crying over these damn fucking men. And I don't want to see it anymore. Because couldn't fucking be me ever again. And I don't want it to be you.
Chads, Tyrones, Jays, Pookies, average men, high value, low value, even the biggest hornball blokes out there don't want women like this. Sure, she's hot in a way. But there are loads and loads of hot women out there. Men can say that they want her. They can say they're on her side. Men can say all sorts of things. And sure, of course, many men will screw her over, quote unquote, from now until she's 45 with cats. And maybe a snake. She strikes me as an I'm such a badass chick I have a snake person. But no man with self-respect who values his peace wants to be within a country mile of a woman like this. I suspect that her whole abrasive tone derives from the kinds of men she's been with who left the biggest impressions on her and in her. I know it sounds mean, but listen to this crap. This is someone's daughter, mate. This is a father's daughter out here, letting the world know she's been so ran through by bad boys. She had to take a year off to rest, which I don't believe for a second, by the way. And she's thirsty for more of the same. Not only that, she's back, fired up to argue the case for why she's ready for it this time. This, in one form or another, is much of what men encounter these days. Again, not all. Not all. Women come in vastly different packages and characters, etc. But this is what men encounter in the 2020s. Sometimes with a veil, sometimes a mask, and sometimes with this "I don't give a crap, you can't tell me what to do, I didn't do anything wrong living my life" rubbish. And no, men don't go looking for girls like this. It's not men's fault many modern women are like this. You don't have to date a woman like this to recognize her. They're everywhere now. Then one day set your clock to it, bruv. She'll be done with the bad boys. Done partying. She wants a real man with his stuff together who knows how to treat a woman like her. And be the stepfather that her newborn needs. Oh, and we're gonna need you to be 6'3", carved out of granite with perfect eyes, hair, and jawline, Thor's hammer behind your zipper, and enough money to make it rain over what's left of her pitiful, deluded soul, as she forever dreams of the men who she broke the bed with when she was in her 20s, and takes it out on the simp who commits to her for the rest of their lives of miserable confusion because she knows her worth. Just ignore these women, I hear you say. Go somewhere else and don't bother with them, I hear you cry out. Well, that's what's happening, my friend. That's why she's shouting half-dressed on TikTok. Don't fall for the superficial features, chaps. The moment you realize you've gotten yourself involved with a 304 like this, do as Chad does. Disconnect with finality and continue going your own way. Now on to this episode's final know-it-all.
These are 4 things. These are 4 things you absolutely need. Write them down. And once you check these 4 things off, then you can start dating, okay? Then you can start dating, mama. But if you don't got these 4, back to the drawing board, baby. Starting off strong with numero uno is self-worth, okay?
Self-worth, as women like this use it, is a vapid, immature concept. So of course, with authority, it's listed first. Men are exhausted of this played-out tone, where people like this try to be your leader, your boss, and your best friend at the same time. This new-age womanist infomercial approach to coaching. All while not having a single piece of useful insight. Just firmly spoken platitudes. Anyway, let's hear out her well-studied mandatory checklist for modern dating and see where we might miraculously find some common ground.
I'm going to break this down in very general terms here for you, and I'm going to give you an example. Self-worth is the internal state of knowing you are good enough. That you are good enough as you are good enough when you make mistakes, you are good enough when you fuck up, that you do not need to be perfect in order to be worthy of love, of respect, of a partner.
Partners are not ideas like love and respect. You don't just deserve a person, just as they don't deserve you. A partnership is a deal, formed between 2 people over time knowing each other. It can happen many ways, but it usually means they decide mutually to conjoin their lives together. Among the better cases, we calm down the petty expectations. Rationally earn their trust, make it simple for them to earn ours, and we accept the consequences of that path. You deserve your family's love. When sufficiently earned, you deserve respect. You make partners.
Something that I think fucks up the worthiness for us is that when we have made a mistake or when we have some negative traits maybe, or we exhibit some negative behavior, we can often go into that negative talk spiral where we convince ourselves that these things make us unworthy. As long as you know your worth, you do not need to prove your worth, because somebody that sees your worth is the only person that you should want to be in a relationship with.
Cool. What does any of that mean, and how do I do that back on Earth? This is what I'm hearing. Establish my self-worth. Somehow. Next, the person who I should want to be in a relationship with has to also measure my worth accurately. then I have to recognize, somehow, that they do in fact not only know I have worth, but convince me that they're not assessing that worth value wrong. She didn't say it, but if my self-worth is a 10 plus, yeah, and my potential partner thinks it's more like a 7, yeah, I feel like that would be a disqualification. Correct me in the comments if you think I'm wrong about that. This self-worth trend is just a code word for comforting delusions. It's not the same as using the word self-worth, for example, with a child who has dark feelings towards themselves. Self-worth might do some good there. Here, it's only to pacify their lives' most unhealthy habits and stubborn regrets.
Knowing your worth could look like, I know exactly what I bring to the table. I know my value. I know how much of an impact, a positive impact, it would be to be in a relationship with me, to have me in your life. Like that knowing, it is the knowing. When you know that value, you are like, I'm fucking worthy of someone that does the exact same for me. If that's not checked off, stay here. We're going to work on that. Step 2 would be
Pure, uncut narcissism is what she's promoting. A simple flipping of the genders shows what rank rubbish this is. Look, it's a good thing to have a healthy grasp of your own qualities and attractive traits. Life can sometimes challenge us into doubting the best part of ourselves. But it also reveals areas where we need improvement, or even where we had something figured all upside down. There is no meaningful value measurement here. Imagine if I told you men, look here chaps, you've got to know you're the absolute shiznit before you go even thinking about dating, mate. When you go out with the next woman, ignore your conscience or whatever's bothering you. All that negativity will just keep you from finding that female partner that you deserve. And since you're just fantastic, even though I don't know you from Gomez, what you deserve is nothing less than a fantastic woman who sees your poorly defined value and worth. And if you have any trouble applying this critical first thing on the checklist, which I insisted you should complete before dating as I said earlier, then no worries, just work on that. Somehow. And instead of telling you how to do that in a way that you can understand, I really just want to move on. You'd think I lost my bloody marbles. No one would take that seriously, nor should they. Yet, this woman has a channel filled with over 100 videos just like this one, and a massive audience. They like what she's saying. That's why red pill channels like mine and others are important. Women tend to win the personal confrontation game because they just refuse to listen to anything that doesn't frame them as a galactic superheroine. But here, we can gather our thoughts, apply a little elbow grease, and get our bearings as men in this atmosphere of deluded hogwash.
self-respect. And this one is not putting up with toxic behavior, disrespectful behavior. This is standing up for yourself. I respect myself enough to not be spoken to in that manner or in that tone. I've told you once, I've told you twice. I don't appreciate that. I'm done speaking to you right now. It is being respectful of your own boundaries, of showing someone, I'm not going to put up with this shit. I am not going to tolerate this, and I will not allow this. I don't want this, and I don't need to deal with this, because I can go, how many people are in the world? I'm sorry, 8.9700 trillion billion mazillion? Exactly. There is someone out there that will speak to me kindly when we're having a disagreement. I don't need to deal with this. That is self-respect, baby.
Hark the herald angels sing, we actually agree on a sodding thing. It is crucial to have an appropriate amount of self-respect before dating strange new people. Unfortunately, it's easier said than done. I'll avoid speaking on the roles of upbringing in the relationships between a child and a father and mother that best enable self-respect, since she hasn't brought it up in this video. Nevertheless, most of us enter relationships making rookie mistakes and revealing flaws and inexperience in a variety of ways, sometimes quite surprising ways. Here, she does not really rely on fluffing her audience, but directs them to make a proactive decision to evaluate whether you're being treated with disrespect and, hence, to not tolerate it. You know my disagreement is coming, but let's appreciate that we agree for the moment. If you're being disrespected, you might have low self-respect, and you should probably end things with that person. Brilliant. Now, here's the big problem that remains. Modern women don't care. They can talk about self-respect every day for ages, but the woman who gains self-respect and does what this TikToker is suggesting and has an adventurous romance with a hunky bachelor only exists in the movies that her audience watches when they're sitting morose, alone, and single over 30. That's why it's even necessary to bring up self-respect for women. The things they do when they really like a man can be self-degrading sometimes. But if they were doing that for the good average man, the issue would not be so massive. It's that bulk of modern women, say ages 20 to 50, are proud 304s right now. So-called coaches like this don't tend to like accusing their womanist audiences of being 304s with hypergamist, self-destructive, bad boy chasing, reckless life standards. Instead, modern women expect to be out of control, city girl bed-breaking 304s throughout their late teens and their 20s. And when they're tired of it, and they don't get quite the same level of attention anymore, particularly those drama cyclones they tend to gravitate towards, now they want to have self-respect. Leave the past behind where nothing matters anymore. My 20s? I was young and stupid. That time was for me. I had a lot to learn. Now I have 3 narcissist exes that you can expect me to bring up a couple times a week. I have about 2 or 3 children from about 2 or 3 fathers. So I'm a mom now, and my kids always come first. That's how I know I'm a good woman with self-respect. So I'm done with Chad and that. I need a real man. If women showed more self-respect without being disproportionately harsh on the good men who make the mistake to care about it, then things could be right as rain in that department. Be firm and know your boundaries with men that show clear, repetitive disrespect towards you. Cheers! But that ain't happening. All womanists hear when she talks about self-respect is to not allow a man to criticize you or ignore you. The audience is left to fill in the gaps of what that looks like in their lives. They'll still pine over what they really want in a man, and what they really want in a man is to be bigger, richer, and with more bed options than whatever man stands before them at any given time. True self-respect hardly even registers as a consideration in that desire. May every modern woman who disproves that with her own life have a wonderful life. Very good. But if we're being honest, you know what I'm on about. You are not every woman. And every modern woman might hear you, but they won't listen.
Number three is my personal favorite, and we're going to do a series on it. Confidence. You need to have confidence. Put very simply, it is the belief in yourself. It is self-assurance, of self-validation. You quite literally are so confident in who you are, in yourself, in your own skin. You have owned your flaws. You are working on yourself. You have invested time, effort, and energy into yourself to make yourself this great person for not only yourself, but maybe for your future partner. As it relates to dating, it is very important because your self-confidence essentially says to you in your mind, I am confident in my ability to attract the right people to me, that I can leave at any moment, that this stops being fun, that this is not something that I wish to engage in anymore. As soon as this person does something that is immediately a red flag for me, I am not scared to leave because I know that I will find someone. That is self-confidence. When you don't have that confidence in yourself, you say, oh, I don't think I can get someone else. I don't think I can get someone else, so I have to stay here. What the? No. Immediately no.
People say that failure is the best teacher. I don't agree with that in a precise way, but I know what it's supposed to mean. And if that's true, then I say victory is the best confidence builder. Not precisely true, but you get the picture. This woman is conflating confidence with her description of self-worth, which, to be fair to her, is exactly what modern women do all the time. So why not echo that for her clout? The word confidence sounds good, just like self-worth sounds good. It's hard to argue against that when you're talking to people who keep things vague and self-serving enough that any attempts to reason with them get interpreted as a misogynistic attack, whether they get loud and emotionally defensive or just become quiet and stop paying you any attention as a result. Now you're the weirdo who thinks women shouldn't have confidence. Well, step number 3 is 100% nonsense. Confidence is helpful and important, yes, but it's a contextual trait, meaning true confidence comes from doing something well and in a reproducible way. Sometimes we use the word confident to mean convinced. I'm confident I'll be starting the new job Thursday. He has confidence that his car is safe in the parking lot, and so on. Confidence, as a part of your character, is when you've already done something and you know you could be relied upon to do it again, as you've done it 100 times. An experienced surgeon has confidence performing a familiar procedure. A mechanic has confidence he can complete a repair job at the garage. A modern woman has confidence she can break the bed with half the blokes at the bar, etc. It's not about thinking you're worth getting someone else. It's about the victories you've accomplished. This is all just more pacifier rubbish.
And lastly, oh my God, I don't know, is this my personal favorite?
No, step 3 was. But then again, you're full of condescending bollocks, so continue.
Standards before you start dating, before you literally even start looking at people. What are your standards? What are your standards? What do you need?
Modesty, humility, compassion, sincerity, responsibility, accountability, self-control, a better diet, regular exercise, a cookbook, respect for others, and oh yes, a good average man, so you can love each other and raise a healthy, happy family together until your final days? Am I close?
What I like to do is, what are the standards that I have for myself? Like, what do I do for myself on a daily basis? How do I treat myself? How do I speak to myself? And I also like to envision a relationship with someone. If I'm going to be in a relationship, if I'm going to be in a relationship, baby, that relationship is going to be a 10 out of 10. And it's not going to be anything less than that, okay? And that's the only way I'm going to enter into that relationship, is if that relationship feels better than I feel alone.
There's another 30 seconds left, but I must say, that really captures the dilemma right there in a nutshell, innit? She won't settle for anything less than a 10 out of 10 relationship that makes her feel better than she does alone. A recipe for catastrophe. These ponderings could all be excusable coming from a 14-year-old. But this is what men are expected to earn in the 2020s. Delulu grown women like this one who think she's balancing being advisory with being funny, when she's really being another example of why men don't bother committing to Western women anymore. Let's play the rest out.
And also, what things are you willing to offer into a relationship? Because the reverse should also be true. That person should be giving you what you are giving them. You have to know your standards. And so this means that when you start dating someone or you start seeing someone, you're not just blindly dating someone just because you like them, whatever the fuck that means. You don't even know you like them, okay? You're wrapped up, you're caught up in just having someone. You need to actually vet these people. Actively observe them. Are they meeting your standards? Do you know your standards?
Right. You're not just blindly dating someone because you like them, whatever that means. She would never. The horror. You mean without controlling every conceivable aspect of the relationship to ensure it's perfectly flawless? Perish the bloody thought. I want you lot to imagine a world, much like this one, except, over there, advice on how to choose a man to date, how to date him, how to keep him, and how to stay together and make the best of it forever, was not given by entitled 304s, but actually happily married women. Instead, what have we got? Women like the ones we covered today, all a bit different from each other, but with the same gospel. I know my worth and nothing's my fault. Meanwhile, they're all breaking bed with Chad the moment the opportunity arises. They accuse the rest of us of being jealous, and they diagnose us with their favorite pseudo-psychology buzzwords while they live lives of viscous hypocrisy and intolerable delusions. Ladies, we've spent enough time on you for one day. It's time we watch someone talk who actually helps us function better tomorrow than we did yesterday. Good luck with everything, Coach. And to my audience, women like the ones we covered today are out there using the world's finest media sharing technologies, and they're wasting it with footage of their own self-destruction and gradually horrifying solitude. I suggest you sidestep that and find those who can help you with your own individual passions and skills. I don't particularly like TikTok, but I do know there are loads of well-meaning folks on there. Learn to play a song you love on the guitar. Watch a concert from a great artist long passed away. Learn how to change that car part on your own to save some money. Anything is better than sitting there telling yourself what you deserve all day. I thank you for reaching the end of my video, and for taking the time out of your day to stop by this old bloke's cave for a chat. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. It helps my material reach more people. And feel free to share your thoughts in the comments if you happen to catch something I might have missed. Thanks for watching and your support. Until next time.